Welcome back to Broncos Beat. Alexis Perry here with James Palmer, Matt Boyer, and Cecil Lammey. While Drew Lock's internal battle will be one to keep an eye on as he enters his first training camp as the Broncos starting quarterback, there are a number of other positional battles that we are excited to see play out, starting with the running backs. You have two Pro Bowl backs in Phillip Lindsay and Melvin Gordon going head-to-head this year, and offensive coordinator Pat Shurmur has said that we will see both of these guys utilized this year, sometimes on the field at the same time. So how can either Phillip Lindsay or Melvin Gordon separate himself as the clear number one guy?
I think it's going to take whoever can demonstrate an ability to grasp that offense first. We've talked about it in previous segments and shows that this offseason is going to be extremely unique. I think an understanding of Pat Shurmur's offense is going to be key. But I think, given the way that Melvin Gordon was brought in, you have to give him the advantage, at least off the bat, just the body type, the way he's able to catch the ball out of the backfield. I think it's going to be his job to lose. But remember, Phillip Lindsay has been counted out plenty of times before in high school, in college, at the pro level, in training camp. His first training camp, he posted on Instagram the other day a photo of him wearing number 2, if everybody remembers those days. So he's extremely motivated. And James, I know you had a chance to visit with him. He's coming off the birth of his first son. He's an extremely motivated guy right now.
Yeah, sitting in his living room, Matt, it was almost like, is this the atmosphere I want to talk to Phillip Lindsay in, because he won't hit me or run me over, because that's how intense he gets. When we started talking football, obviously we did a piece about him becoming a new father, and along with his dad, it was great. Shameless plug, catch on NFL Network. But when you start talking football with him, he just gets going, right? And that's what he's been doing this whole offseason, spending as much time with Drew Lock as he could, catching footballs from Drew Lock as much as he could. That's an emphasis there. And one aspect I do want to talk about in a broader sense is how these competitions are going to go in training camps across the league. Talking to people in different buildings, it's been said to me multiple times that I got to find ways to be more creative in practice, to create competitive environments with no preseason games and limited ability to see how these guys perform in maybe, say, padded spots or different situations. It's going to be very few opportunities for a guy like Phillip Lindsay, if you think he has to beat out Melvin Gordon, to show Pat Shurmur that he should get these opportunities. I think that's worth noting, that that's going to be the case in all of these battles, that you have limited opportunities to show the staff what you can bring to the table.
It's picking up the offense and it's pass protection. You got to protect your quarterback or you're not going to see the field. Now, Phillip Lindsay can do that. How does he pick up this offense, et cetera? How does he fit in this offense? Now, I'm never going to bet against Phillip Lindsay ever, because the guy proves everybody wrong. So just sit back and watch. Get your popcorn ready, because how does either one differentiate from the other? I don't know if they can. Melvin Gordon's too good. Phillip Lindsay's too good. And I know it's not Michigan or Ohio State, but we can talk Wisconsin football. And that was a gap scheme that Melvin Gordon came from. I've always thought the Chargers never used him the right way. Pat Shurmur's got a gap scheme. He's going to use Melvin Gordon the right way. So we're going to see perhaps the best Melvin Gordon we've ever seen. Phillip Lindsay will rise to the challenge.
And Cecil is right in that. Melvin is very open and honest about thinking that it did not fit him properly with the Chargers, and he thinks this setup is going to fit him much more. And there was a lot of production out of a system that he feels he wasn't very comfortable in and he didn't fit. So that's something to keep an eye on.
All right, guys, let's go ahead and move to the left tackle position. Garrett Bowles, he's entering his final year of his rookie contract, and he's going to be forced to earn that starting position outright over Elijah Wilkinson. Cecil, I know that you had Eli on your show recently. What did you gather from him as far as how he's feeling heading into this training camp?
Very confident, Alexis. And in talking to Eli last week, it was just so refreshing for him to be at one position. And I kind of asked him, like, hey, you can be a swing tackle. You can be a swing guard as well. Hell, probably can play center. But, how, excited are you that you can just focus on one position? And he's supremely confident in his ability, and he's excited for that opportunity, because as an undrafted player out of UMass, it goes from, hey, can I even make the league, to I can make the league, I can play 4 spots on the offensive line, to now I want to be a full-time starter, not because somebody's hurt, but because I won that job. This is going to be a very important battle to watch.
You mentioned it, Cecil, his versatility, whether it's at left tackle or right tackle or at the guard position, he's going to get his chance. He's going to see the field this season. There's no question about it. In my mind, though, just based on the way Garrett Bowles finished last year, I think this is Bowles' job to lose. And before everybody on YouTube hits the comment section real hard right now, okay, I think that last year at the end of the year, he showed tremendous progress. Another season, another offseason with Mike Munchak, albeit virtually, is going to help him out. And I think another year next to Dalton Reisner, I think the insertion of Reisner into that left guard position was extremely helpful with his development. So I think they like where Garrett Bowles is potentially setting himself up for this training camp. Now it's about putting it together.
How upset is everybody that we aren't going to be able to stand like 8 feet away from the one-on-ones that go on with the offensive line versus this defensive line, get a chance to see a healthy Bradley Chubb and to see what he's bringing to the table rushing against both of these guys in those one-on-ones. I mean, that might be one of the biggest things that I will miss from not being able to get right up there next to it in training camp. And I think we all know that Garrett Bowles has all the talent in the world. You're always just wondering who's going to get through to him, right? Who's going to get to him on the mental side of things? And everybody believes Mike Munchak, one of the best in the game. If he can't do it, I'm not sure anybody can. But Matt's exactly right. If a little bit more time, and he did play better, and specifically with Drew, the way Drew plays, and he kind of had an awareness of the way Garrett was. If you can find ways to get through to him on the mental side, that's why you haven't given up on him. But I do think he has a leg up right now, specifically because of how he finished the season and where he was, I guess, in essence, sitting as the starter coming into it.
Okay, guys, really quick before we go to break, I want to touch on the wide receiver position because Benjamin Albright threw out this idea last week that Tim Patrick is going to earn the number 2 spot opposite Cortland Sutton, not Jerry Jeudy. So I want to throw out kind of a different battle here at the wide receiver position. The bigs, which would include Sutton, Patrick, and Jeudy, versus the speedsters, which would include Sutton, Jeudy, and Hamler. Which package do you guys think will prevail this year?
Speed kills in the NFL. We've seen it before, and size does matter. You can get to the red zone and use that package, and no one's going to, fault Tim Patrick for his efforts in making it in the pros. But simply put, I want to see Jerry Jeudy, Cortland Sutton, and KJ Hamler on the field together as much as possible.
Yeah, I agree with Cecil. And, Ben Albright's trying to make orange and blur happen. The way you do that is put KJ Hamler, Jerry Jeudy, and Cortland Sutton on the field at the same time. I will say, though, don't count out Tim Patrick because he's working extremely hard this offseason along with Deshaun Hamilton. Those guys have a leg up on those rookies having already been in the pros for a season. And as we mentioned, those rookies are not going to have the benefit of an OTAs and training camp to really demonstrate what they can do.
And it's going to be hard with all the 2 tight end personnel. Cecil's going to have them running out there with future Pro Bowler Albert O as that other tight end. What kind of receiver sets can you get out of that? But Cecil's also exactly right that he says speed kills. You don't take KJ Hamler in the spot that you did when you have a desperate need to add another cornerback sooner in the draft to go out and get him to have him not be on the field. And I think speed changes everything, and you're going to do everything in your power to make sure he is on the field with those other 2 guys because he takes the top off it and makes the other 2 guys a lot better in Jeudy and Cortland Sutton.
All right, Benjamin Albright, if you're watching, you are wrong, sir. So wrong.